Communications Director for the Trump 2020 campaign, Erin Perini. Erin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A lot to talk about. Big day of breaking news. First of all, the impeachment. The Democrats filed recommended two articles of impeachment against the president: obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. Are these charges justified?
There is no justification, and there never has been, for Democrats' delusion and craziness to try and impeach President Trump. Let's remember, they've been trying to do this since before Inauguration Day. And Nancy Pelosi started this more than 70 days ago with her impeachment by press conference before she even had the facts about the call with Ukraine. I mean, Democrats are so delusional that they think they can overturn the 2016 election results. The good news is they can't.
Now, they're saying a lot. We saw the press conference this morning. They play this whole stunt with solemn hearts. We're somber that we have to do this. Is that working with voters?
Absolutely not. Voters see through the sham that is the Democrats' tears and their sadness over trying to have to impeach the president. It's total, in the words of Joe Biden, malarkey. They've got no grounds. They don't have any facts. And Democrats and Republicans and Americans all see it for what it is: a joke, a hoax, and a witch hunt against President Trump. Because you know what? Democrats hate that America's winning, apparently, under President Trump. Because if they didn't hate this president so much, can you imagine how much stronger we would be? USMCA would already be done. A record trade deal. Democrats said, you can't renegotiate NAFTA. President Trump said, yes, I can. And he did. And Democrats sat on it for a year because of blind hatred.
And we've seen in polling, impeachment is actually helping the president in Pennsylvania, where we are today, as well as Michigan, where you'll be next week, and Wisconsin. Is your internal polling data reflecting that as well?
Absolutely. Our internal polling data is showing that we are growing in support for President Trump every time Democrats do this. And the dollars are showing in too. After Nancy Pelosi's press conference 70 some odd days ago, when she started this, we brought in $15 million in 72 hours to the campaign, which included all small dollars, all $200 or less, and 50,000 new donors to the campaign. 50,000 new Americans who hadn't given to the president before said, not only do I think that the impeachment's wrong, but I'm going to support you with my money, my hard-earned paycheck, so you can win again. So our polling shows it, and we're going to be able to, we've been running against impeachment and fighting the Democrats on this since the beginning, so we're well prepared for it now.
So after today's announcement, is the campaign strategy changing at all? You altering your course?
Absolutely not. We're steadfast and we're ready to go because Democrats have been doing this since before day one. Before President Trump was inaugurated, there were headlines about how he was going to get impeached and how this was Democrats' hope. It was Russia, then it was quid pro quo, then it was witness intimidation, then it was bribery. They've never been able to figure out how they wanted to do this, but they keep trying. And now they think they've got it, but none of them know what they're talking about. So on our end, we're going to keep running on the message of the president's accomplishments. We're going to keep registering voters. We're going to keep engaging. We're going to keep doing great rallies like this one, and we're going to win again.
Speaking of accomplishments, the economy. The November jobs numbers blew expectations out of the water. Is that resonating with voters?
Absolutely, and I love how these analysts are always so shocked that the Trump economy is doing so well. Record low unemployment, 3.1% wage growth, which is up from the year prior. And when we're looking at lower income earners, 7, 8, 9% wage income growth. I mean, that's huge, and that's more jobs. Here in Pennsylvania, we saw an average of a $1,300 tax deduction because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. About 50,000 jobs were created because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So this booming economy is resonating, and we're going to make sure that every Pennsylvanian, every American knows President Trump is the one who delivered that in spite of the Democrats.
Now, moderate voters and swing voters are going to be a big part of this next election. Does the economy help with that on your end?
The economy does help with swing voters and with voters who maybe didn't come into President Trump's camp before. We have results. What were promises made, just a man who wanted to be president, is now a president with a record to run on, and results that are more than anybody could have imagined in their wildest dreams. So we get to talk about that with voters every day. Here in Pennsylvania, 40% of what they manufacture is exported to Canada and Mexico. We just got a record-breaking trade deal with them, and we get to say, hey, we've got a strong economy, and he is out there fighting every day in the face of the Democrats to deliver for you. And we're excited to be able to do that.
Speaking of the USMCA, it was just announced today that they've reached a deal. How is that going to resonate with voters? Do you think it's going to bring more into the Trump camp?
Every time the president delivers, the president grows stronger. Americans get to see that this is a man who's not afraid to take on a challenge. Everybody said, you can't renegotiate NAFTA. No, no, no. Well, he did it. And now it's going to be a big boon for the economy. It's going to mean that the Pennsylvanians here, the 6,200 dairy farmers in this state, are going to have more open markets for their products in Mexico and Canada. And that means that the $14 billion of this Pennsylvania economy that is a direct result of trading with Canada and Mexico will only get stronger. That is huge for us. Everybody tells this president, you can't do this. He does it and he wins for America. It's incredible.
Now, the Democrats waited until after they announced impeachment to agree to this legislation. Why do you think that was the case?
To try and understand what Democrats do is a psychology class I could never take, and nor would I want to. Democrats are so out of their minds. They think that they can say in one breath, oh, he needs to be removed immediately. Oh, wait, but what he did over there was a good job. They just don't get it. If they put America first the way President Trump does, they wouldn't be chasing this fake impeachment, and they would have gotten USMCA done a long time ago. They're just trying to show that they can actually do something, but it's too little too late for them.
Now, polling, moving to that, it doesn't paint the whole picture, it doesn't show the entirety of what's going on in the nation, but how has your internal polling reflected the president's accomplishments, especially among minorities?
Minorities are thriving because of President Trump, and our polling reflects that. We've seen a growth in support with Black Americans, both internally and in national public polling, that shows that they understand what President Trump is doing, and they support that. They have record low unemployment and wage growth and business opportunities because of the Trump policies and the Trump economy. And so we get to run on that, and we see more of that support coming in. The same with Latinos and women, both record low unemployment, Asian Americans, record low unemployment, veterans, record low unemployment. President Trump has delivered for all race, color, and creed of this country, and we get to share that message time and again.
Now, 2020 is going to be a massive year. Obviously, the campaign is going to be very busy. Can you give our viewers just an overview of what 2020 is going to look like?
2020 is going to be busy and wild and crazy, and we are so excited for it. We're going to be training volunteers. We're going to be registering voters. We're going to be on the ground in communities across the country getting ready to run. When we train our volunteers and they become volunteer captains, we see a 15% increase in voter turnout for President Trump and for Republicans in those districts. That's where our focus is. All of this is great because it gives us more information about voters, but we're going to make sure we're on the ground working every day to make sure we can win again. You're going to see more rallies. You're going to see more coalition events. You're going to see us everywhere all the time. We're bigger, better, badder than before, and 2020 is our chance to show that.
Now, Michigan, we'll see you guys in Michigan next week for the Christmas rally. Where may we see the president in January? Can you give us any hints?
No hints yet, but I can tell you it's going to be just as busy as it's always been, and we're going to be in key states all across the country focused on winning again in 2020.
Swing states perhaps in January? Lots of swing states?
Swing states, yeah.
Awesome. Erin Preeney, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you a lot on the road in 2020. Take care.